Welcome to the Salem Night Stories, where I share horror stories daily. If you enjoy this story, please like and subscribe so I can keep bringing you more. Now let's get into tonight's story. This ride almost killed me. They say your instincts know before your brain does. I didn't listen to mine. This happened 2 years ago, but I still can't get into a rideshare without checking the license plate at least twice. Or sit behind the driver, or fall asleep in the car. I don't even like telling this story out loud anymore, but I think part of me needs to. Like if I keep it locked up, it still wins. I was 23, living in a small coastal city while finishing nursing school. I worked at a 24-hour pharmacy 5 nights a week. The shifts were brutal, especially on weekends, but I needed the money. It was a Friday, and I'd just finished a double shift. My car had been in the shop all week, and after 14 hours on my feet, I didn't feel safe walking home at 3:30 a.m., so I did what most people would do. I ordered a ride. The app said my driver would be Tom in a gray Honda Civic. He'd be there in 6 minutes. When a gray Civic pulled up, I didn't think twice. I was exhausted, my feet hurt, and I just wanted to get home and fall into bed. The window rolled down and the guy asked, "You Kayla?" "Yeah," I said, already pulling the door open. Here's the first red flag I ignored. The car smelled off. Not dirty, just weird, like bleach and old cologne. The second red flag came 5 seconds later, when he sped off before I even closed the door properly. Like he was late for something, or running from something. But I was tired, and I just assumed he was one of those drivers who took his 5-star rating seriously. "Rough night?" he asked, glancing at me in the rearview mirror. "Yeah," I said, polite smile. I checked my phone, and that's when I noticed the screen still said looking for driver. I blinked. Wait, what? I checked the plate number again. It wasn't a match. Not even close. The real Tom was still 5 minutes away. My mouth went dry. "Hey, I think I got in the wrong car," I said, my voice higher than I meant it to be. He didn't answer, just drove faster. "Excuse me, sir?" He laughed quietly and said, "Yeah, I know." I wish I could describe the way that moment felt. Like my bones froze from the inside. I felt weightless and heavy at the same time. My fingers fumbled my phone, but I quickly texted my roommate. "Help, wrong Uber, track me." Then I dropped my phone into the narrow space between the seat and the door so he wouldn't see the screen. He turned sharply, taking a road that definitely wasn't toward my house. We were heading toward the old industrial district, a place I avoided even during the day. "Where are we going?" I asked, forcing my voice to stay calm. Again, no response. I tried the door. Locked. "Please let me out," I said, louder now. "I won't say anything, I swear." He finally looked at me in the mirror. His expression was unreadable. Not angry, not afraid, just blank. Like this was a chore, a job. "You're lucky," he said. "You weren't my first choice." The other girl canceled. I don't know what possessed me, but I started talking, fast, about anything, my parents, my classes. I told him I had a dog and roommates and people expecting me home. I lied and said my dad was a retired cop. I tried to humanize myself. He didn't say a word, just kept driving. The streets got darker. Empty warehouses, boarded up factories, graffiti. I couldn't see a single other car. I tried the handle again. Still locked. I unbuckled my seatbelt, ready to throw myself out if we hit a stop sign or light. Then I saw it. A cop car parked in a lot up ahead. Just sitting there. I slammed my hand on the window and screamed. Over and over. The driver tried to grab my arm and veer away, but it was too late. The cop must have seen the struggle because their lights flashed immediately. The car jerked. He hit the gas, trying to speed off, but the cop was faster. In under a minute, we were boxed in. I threw open the door the second the car stopped. He hadn't even unlocked it. I just yanked the manual latch and dove out. I ran to the officer. I remember sobbing, shaking, not making any sense. They got me into their cruiser and called for backup. His name was Derek Morgan. He had a history. In and out of mental health facilities, a prior assault charge, and he'd been out on parole for less than 4 months. He wasn't a rideshare driver. He'd stolen the Civic the day before from a neighboring town. The fact that he'd been trolling the rideshare pickup zone was horrifying. Inside the car they found rope, gloves, duct tape, and a large knife under the seat. He had zip ties in his coat pocket. According to police, he'd been shopping for someone. They told me if I hadn't texted, or if the officer hadn't seen the struggle. If anything had gone just slightly different, I would have disappeared into the night, like so many others had. I got therapy. I moved apartments, got a new phone number, new job, even changed my hair. But 3 months later, I received a note in my mailbox. No postage, just tucked into the slot. It said, "Wasn't your time. Next girl might not be so lucky." I showed it to the police. They said it was probably from a copycat or someone trying to mess with me after the news coverage, but my blood went cold because of the handwriting. It was the same as the name scribbled on a fast food bag in the passenger side of that Civic. I don't know if he had help or if he told someone, or if someone was inspired by what happened. But every few months I find reminders. Once, a child's shoe on my porch. Another time, a paper crane on my windowsill, something I mentioned in my therapy interviews but never told anyone else. And most recently, a sticky note on my windshield that simply read, "You looked better blonde." I haven't been blonde since the week after the kidnapping. I don't know who it is. I don't know what they want. Maybe they just want me to live in fear, if that's the goal. They've succeeded. I double lock my doors now. I keep pepper spray in every purse. I memorize license plates. I don't walk alone at night, ever. And I never, ever assume a rideshare is safe just because the car looks right. Sometimes evil doesn't wear a mask. Sometimes it smiles and says, "You, Kayla." Thanks for watching, Salem Night fans. Before you turn out the lights, do one thing for me. Hit that like and subscribe, and always get into the right Uber car.